Hello everyone. Thank you so much for coming online and being on our live session. And today I take this privilege to introduce me as Regila, the representative of Vidya Viday Foundation. And Vidya Viday Foundation is a Chennai-based organization working for school transformation so that we deliver quality education in all schools. We work with the school leaders and the management team and see that how we could build capacity to deliver quality education in all the schools. Um, Today in this session, I take this opportunity to introduce a platform called a Leaders Trek. So a leader's trek is basically trying to understand a leader's journey. And at one side, we have great leaders who have had great journey and they have been very successful in what they are doing. At the other end, we have really young, passionate leaders who are aspiring to be great leaders, doing a lot of good things, and looking for a lot of inspiration to grow them much more better. And this is what we try to intend through this platform. A Leaders Trek is a platform to build leaders through leaders. And that's why I am really privileged to introduce our leader for the day today and our guest speaker for the day in the Leaders Trek series, Mrs. Veena Kumaravel. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us in this session today. To sharely, to briefly share what Veena Kumaravel ma'am's background is that we've all heard Natural Salon, right? It's quite famous all around us. And she is the co-founder of Natural Salon, and she has been the first woman in South India to launch unisex salon across South India. So we are really grateful to have you here, ma'am, and we are truly inspired by your thought that how you would like to create many more women entrepreneurs just like you. And we truly align with your thought that the better style statement is when you stand on your own feet. So a lot of inspiration, a lot of motivation from you. Thank you for joining here with us, ma'am. We welcome you once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you for asking me to join your Leaders Trek. I'm very humbled and honored to be one of your guests. So
Thank
I've
you so much.
been able to meet a lot of young entrepreneurs who are looking forward to, do something on their own, take an initiative and do something on their own. And best wishes to you and your team for this,
Awesome.
very inspiring journey that you've taken.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your words. So today's conversation is going to be very brief, understanding your journey and how your learnings from your journey can inspire many more leaders here. I would like to just start this session by one of the quote that you had shared in one of your interviews. That is, beauty helps you to build confidence, and when you are groomed, you feel good. When you feel good, you feel even more confident. So I think we all can agree with this that why do we groom? We feel when we groom, we feel more confident. And with this conversation, I want to begin our whole conversation on why naturals and how did this idea come into your mind. Unisex salon business is something that's common right now when we hear about it, but back then, when you had
Yeah.
initiated, was it very common, or was it something that was, looked upon as something very new? And how did you deal with this? How did you bring in this idea, and why unisex salon as such, and why naturals as such? How did this whole journey start, ma'am?
Okay, so to say how this whole journey started, mainly to keep myself self-employed. I think I've mentioned that quite a few times. It was for me, it was my personal journey. Started off with wanting to do something on my own, and after considering a lot of options, we, kind of shortlisted saloon and school, a play school or a boutique. But I think my main interest to want to start a salon was because I was very interested in working with a lot of natural products, using
Okay.
natural products for hair and skin. And so that was, I think, my motivation to start a salon. So that's how Natural started. So initially, yes, we tried using a lot of natural products in our services, but down the line, uh, it was not feasible because it was difficult to standardize and take it across all the salons. So then we slowly moved on to branded products. But yes, I think that was what got me to want to start a salon. And being, you were talking about unisex salon. Yes, back then a unisex salon was a new concept because generally it was women going to a women's salon, or men it was a small barber shop. And so what we brought in was a family concept. So that was where both the whole family could come with the children, the men, women. So we did have separate areas for both men and women, and so that way it was acceptance was there, and people accepted that easily. It was more than our family and other people accepting this. It was the public, I mean the customer, and Chennai, is generally conservative. So we were, in fact, even thinking how this concept will take in Chennai. But I think the whole idea of a family saloon, people coming together, spending time together, and going kind of caught on. And then I think, yeah, this is now everybody feels it's worth having a family or a unisex saloon makes more sense than having an separate men and women salon.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
amazing, ma'am.
yes.
I completely agree how the whole idea of when you address a solution that the customers really need and that makes the customers more comfortable, that solution really impacts well. And very beautifully said, ma'am. So when the leadership that you had in Natural Salon, or when you had begun, so there are some leaders who identify themselves as, no, I have leadership qualities and that's why I want to start my own venture. Whereas some leaders, they feel that, okay, I want to start this venture, I want to create this solution, and I might evolve myself as a leader as and when the journey goes in. So, what do you resonate, ma'am, and how was your journey with regard to leadership and starting this whole venture together?
Yeah, for me, I think I it's the second one. I emerged as a leader. When I started, it was I did take the support of people. I did have a technically. I'm a commerce student, so I did not have any knowledge about the beauty industry. All that I wanted to do is do something on my own and give a lot of natural products, and that was what kind of excited me because I loved using fruits on the face. So that was the main motivation. So that's what pushed me into this. But along the years, we slowly, I grew rather emerged as and evolved as a leader, and I have a lot of comfort with the staff, my smile providers as we call them. So that rapport that you build. So business is all about relationships. So the
Yes.
relationship that you build with your franchisees, the relationship you build with your staff, your vendors. So, your customers mainly, because you're there. If you're there in a salon, when you're there on the floor, you're interacting with your customers on a daily basis. So you're and the relationship that you build with them is what brings them back to the salon. So that's the relationship that all my franchisees have built with their customers, and today that's what keeps the customer coming to you in spite of the industry growing in such a big way. So much of people coming into this. So a lot of competition is also there. But why a customer would come to a national is because they have that with the franchisee, with the partners there. So that's the relationship that we've built with all of them, all the stakeholders, the bankers, the vendors, the smile providers, the franchisees,
Yes.
the customers. So yes, I think over the time I've
Amazing.
learned this.
Very truly, ma'am. Even I am the second set of leader who learned my leadership journey only when after I started Vidya Vidya Foundation. So before that, I was just a fresher out from the college doing my master's degree. So yeah, even I resonate with you a lot. And very beautifully, you had put this
Yeah,
point
that's
of
the heart of the
how the
business.
relationship. Yes, yes, that's more exciting, I
Okay, so
suppose. Yeah.
relationship is the heart of the business. Yeah.
Right, ma'am. And the relationship, when you were talking about the relationship, about how you created with your customers, how you created with your employees, how you created with your vendors. To be very honest, I have been your customer for a long time. And let it be in Coimbatore, let it be in Chennai, let it be in Mumbai, I have always looked out for natural salon and made sure that I go to a salon like Naturals, and I am assured that I would get the quality service that I get in at anywhere at any place in Naturals. So how did you make this all possible? How did you standardize the whole quality aspect? And what were some of your initiatives to bring in this quality aspect and make it standardized? Any culture that you followed among your employees to make sure that we will never change our quality, and this is the quality that any customer going in any center of naturals will receive it.
So when you talk about culture, yes, I think the culture of the organization is what will build the organization on. So our we've been always telling the smile providers, put a smile on the customer's face. So any salon when we go for an opening, or when we speak, the first thing we say is to all of them we communicate is customer is the king or queen, and you're dependent on the customer. So customer is your boss. It is neither me nor my, or CK or anybody or the franchisee or the manager who's your boss. We always tell them the customer is your boss, and you have to see that the customer goes out with a smile. If the customer goes out with a smile, then you are assured that you have won a customer, and she's going to remain your loyal customer for the rest of the time. So that is one this thing that we value, that we keep telling all our smile providers, our franchisees. So that's been the culture of our organization. The
Okay.
other thing that you were talking about is, yes, during the initial stages, since we were very new to this business, not so a lot of learnings came in terms of our vendors, our brand, partners like the L'Oreal, the Scotch Vela. So these brand partners supported us with through training to standardize our processes. So they were a lot of support from them, helped us to standardize our all our processes in terms of
Okay.
hair and skin. So they played a very important role in that. And along that, we were able to set up our own training academies. So slowly we were able to train our staff, and so that way we were able to standardize our processes. When our team was built, so we were able to standardize our processes, and we have a team which visits the salons regularly to see that they follow all these processes, especially now with after corona. The hygiene process, which is we see that they follow these the hygiene protocols very stringently, because that is what will make the customer come back to your salon. So
Right.
today, all the more, we need to see that we follow these protocols and standards. Otherwise, nobody today, everybody is scared to go to the salon. So unless you have all this in place, it is only then that they will come into your salon. So I should say that way, yes, our customers are confident to come to a natural salon, because they know that we follow all these protocols.
Great, ma'am. Ma'am, can you please elaborate more on what are some of the like how did you establish the standardization process? Like any one or two examples. Like you said, you had this training academy where you build the skills of different people on how to be in the salon or just with beauty and wellness. So, can you please share one or two structures or examples that might be helpful for other organization or for other leaders, that this is how you should think through, or this is how you should plan your scalability? How do you think through this?
See, once we started scaling, one of our major, uh, what do you say, roadblock would have been manpower, because as you
Okay.
were saying, it's a taboo industry. Not too many people were coming into it. Only in those days. Earlier, it was people who dropped out of school or were not interested in studying. Then they were doing this
Right.
as a hobby or a part-time course till they were settled in some other career.
Right.
So it was not taken seriously as a career. So then we realized that if we have to get good quality manpower, then the way forward would be to start our own, training academies. And people at that time were not too willing to come. You could start an academy, but you need people to come. And so what we did was to get manpower from, a lot of them come from the Northeast. So we kind of brought people in, set up the hostel for them, provided food, accommodation, gave them free
Okay.
education, and then we had a kind of agreement with them that they work with us for a couple of years, and so that way we were able to bring in a lot of qualified manpower, and that was because then we were growing, moving on to tier 2 and tier 3 towns, and it was very difficult to get manpower there, more than in the cities. Even in the cities, you will get people from who are interested in beauty and hair, but going down to the smaller towns, there it was absolutely no. It's like they would not let their children or girls to be a beautician
Right.
or a hairdresser. So there at that time it was mainly these people, are not these staff, were able to help us. We were able to set salons, give the manpower. So they are very. If you have to talk about them, these people are very what do you say? Very conscious about what they are doing. I mean, in terms of learning, they're very quick to learn. Then their language is there. They all speak good English, Hindi, and able to pick up things quickly. Very loyal, and they're also by themselves very conscious about their way they dress and use. So it was so easy for us to for them to adapt to this industry, and for us it was good because we needed. See, finally, we are in a grooming industry, and you need your
Right.
service providers to look well groomed and smart. So that is one thing which helped us to stay ahead of others, because we were able to bring these people, groom them, and provide manpower. That was one big thing that we did in our franchising when we went on to franchising. This was one big asset that the franchisee found in our thing, because we were able to give them the manpower, well-trained manpower. So that took us,
Amazing.
gave us the
Amazing.
lead over the others. Yeah. And then, of course, others is setting up training, constantly training. And as I said, a lot of our partners were there to support us constantly. So this happens very regularly. Trainings happen every month. On month, we have constant trainings happening, upskilling, and teaching them what is the fashion and what is in trend today. So that happens even today. It's an ongoing process. So that's, yeah.
Great, great, ma'am. I just love the way how you've been constantly talking about the quality aspect of your service, and to ensure that that quality is being delivered. How you have taken different steps in your journey, going from understanding different strategies, and then actually training and deploying people who would deliver this quality. So, talking about the vision, like when you had started Naturals, you would have certain vision, right? So, for a leader, it is important that they have a vision and they walk towards it. But for some leaders, the vision is crystal clear in the beginning itself. For some leaders, the vision evolves as the journey grows. So, what would you resonate, or how was your journey with regard to the vision and leadership that you were driving towards?
Anita Roddick's Body Shop is our role model. So both
Okay,
my husband and me have met her when we before we started Naturals, of course, when we were doing
okay,
another business. So very inspired by the way her body shop itself was at that time. To enter a body shop, the way the whole setup was with a lot of natural products, and the fragrances kind of mind blowing it was used to be when you get into a shop like. And so we were very inspired and wanted to meet Anita Rodek. We got to meet her, and her story. We keep listening to her audio cassettes and read her books. So her journey, so we kind of copied, I would say, her journey in how she went
Right,
on to
yeah.
franchise and how she encouraged women entrepreneurship. So yes,
Awesome.
so our vision was not very clear then, but we knew that we wanted to do something on that line, and started off with one store with a lot of natural electronic products. Then slowly we moved on and evolved into franchising model. And today, I think our focus is on encouraging women entrepreneurship. So that's how the journey has moved.
That's really
So,
amazing, ma'am.
I think it all evolved, and
It all
you have to
evolved.
grow with that. Yes.
Amazing, amazing. It's the similar ideology that even we at Vidya Vidya were following. That why do we reinvent the same wheel, whereas we can learn from others' experiences and build on our own. And uh, so it really brings us to a point where we could say that how leadership evolves to at a point where we learn from each other, grow from each other, and still bring our uniqueness in what we do.
Very true.
When we were planning for this interview, I had interacted with a lot of people. Alice had interacted with a lot of people to understand about you and how you have taken this leadership journey so beautifully. And one thing that came in very common was that you can find Veena ma'am anytime at her office. Even though her house is far, she is always at her office and she religiously comes to office. So that's the passion and that's the interest that we see in your work. So, what would be the leadership qualities that you would say, these are some of the qualities that the leadership should have to make their work even better and best at their own potential? So, any qualities that you would like to share yours, or you feel that this is what I aspire to be?
See, as a leader, you what you try to say is, I mean, I would say a leader should lead from the front during difficult situations or crises when the need is there, and a leader should lead from behind when things are going smoothly. So today, during this Corona and the pandemic, we had 1 or 2 months where absolutely nothing happened. So everybody was, we were all, I mean, the salons were closed, so there was nothing much we could do. But of course, we were doing a lot of, connecting with our franchisees because you had to keep, motivating them. It is a situation that nobody expected. So,
Right.
so we were there on connecting online with them, encouraging them, motivating them. Similar with the staff, with the team, and the smile providers. We had to keep telling them that yeah, this is a situation which will pass, and of course we will all be back in business, and soon we should be doing getting back to normal. So that was happening for those 2 months. Then once saloons were allowed to open up, we had to be in the front because otherwise you can't have the staff to come and be there in the salon while you're at home thinking I have to be safe. That doesn't work. So then you have to be there on the floor to say that yes, everything is fine, and you just have to take all the precautions, and you will be okay. So that is what we were all doing as a team, and all of us were there. In the front, you have to lead. That's when you have to lead from the front and be with them. So this is a typical situation where this is what we did during this time. And some of the qualities I would say is a leader doesn't go sit on a pedestal. You have to be with your team to, be with them by their side, hold their hands, encourage them, and to, teach them and guide them when they need you to be. So that's how I work with both my team as well as my providers. I'm there always for them. Anytime they can connect to me on the on the phone, or they can come to my office. So I keep that relationship with my team and the staff or the smile providers. And the franchisees, of course, are always there. They are my customers, so they are there to call us anytime, and we believe in being a friendly franchisor to the franchisor, to our franchisee. So we have that friendly relationship, but we also are, as long as they also stick to their, they follow all the rules and regulations. So as long as they are, following the processes and the systems, yes, we are friendly franchisers. But if there is a little deviation, then we step in to see how we can correct, guide them, and then set things right for them. So that's how we've been
Right.
working all the time. So yeah.
Amazing, amazing, ma'am. Truly inspirational to hear this. I think what learning I take back from this conversation is that how a leader can sometimes be the person who's holding the steering wheel, and at sometimes be the person who is like a pilot, just seeing the way and let someone else drive the
Yeah,
whole
be the navigator
venture.
maybe. Yeah.
Yes, navigator. Yeah, navigator would be the perfect word. Right. So it's really inspiring to see how even during the toughest time like COVID can impact so many people, and you've tried your best to be with your employees, be with your franchisee heads, and see that how we could collaborate and still be motivated, and also sometimes role play that when I can be there, even you can be. Safety is something that's
Yeah,
in your hand. It's not something to be put it into others' hand. So really inspired by this, and with this energy, let's go into the rapid fire round that we have shared with you. Yes, it's going to be very easy, and we expect you to answer really quick. So we want the top of your mind answer, ma'am. Yes,
okay.
yeah. So the first question is the best advice you have received till date. The best advice you
Um,
have received till date.
Best advice is, I mean, I've been asked to network a lot. So,
Okay,
that is something that I lag behind. So that is what, if you could say, network, meet people, connect with people.
amazing. There's a lot of similarities between you and me. Even I I struggle to network a lot, and my husband does that for me, who's also the other co-founder of Vidya Vidya.
Oh,
So
good. Yeah, I
yeah,
think that is very
that's
similar to all my situations.
great. But we complement each other, so we can say we are best in
Yes,
something else, and the other one is best in something else.
exactly.
Great, ma'am. One leader you closely follow, ma'am.
Uh, I no, I wouldn't say one leader. I do read a lot of management books, so I pick and take from different people. It's not that I follow one person,
Okay, okay, okay.
like that.
It changes according to situations, right?
Yeah, different people, different.
Okay, amazing, amazing, ma'am. One thing that makes a company best place to work.
I think the environment there, when you everybody feels comfortable to work in. I mean, it should be an open kind of a place where it's not just the boss dictates and the other person does. It should be, you should be open to bring out your ideas, your suggestions, and you'll be encouraged to do. If you're in the right direction, yes. So we
Right,
have a lot
right.
of
Great.
youngsters working with us. So we kind of today we've brought in a lot of new projects. After COVID, and we're trying to reinvent ourselves also. Yeah, we have a lot of youngsters giving us new ideas, new suggestions to try out new business.
Amazing. So your workplace is always vibrant.
Yes, we have the CK Angels we've started where we want youngsters to come out with new projects. So we will fund them and or collaborate with them to do things. So that's how it is. And our
Great.
the thing is commerce with conscience. So anything we do, we want to relate to that and keep to that value.
Awesome, awesome, ma'am. And one thing that makes you really happy. It could be anything.
To be honest, the shopping makes me happy.
Shopping makes you happy. Great. And one message to all the leaders who's watching this video. What would be your one message or advice or your learning that you've had in your journey?
So, one advice I would say is, yeah, keep reinventing yourself because today everything changing. It's so fast paced, and you never know how it is tomorrow. We are all have gone through that in the last 6 8 months. We never expected something like that. So it's better to be prepared in the sense, keep be ready for the change and
Right.
do the necessary things to keep up to it. To learn new things, learn connect with new people, keep yourself abreast of all this, keep learning, keep reinventing and evolving as you grow.
Amazing, amazing. And rapid fire round is over. Thank you so much, ma'am, for
Yeah.
being so supportive and being so welcoming with our questions and our doubts that we had. Do we have any questions from the live session? Any of the viewers would like to share? Yeah, so I'll get it in my private chat, ma'am. I'll share it with you. Yes. Yeah, so right now we have one question from a viewer that the co-founders of Naturals is Veena Kumaravelu ma'am and Kumaravelu sir. So how are you managing both personal and professional life together? How do you balance it out, and how do you complement each other? Is one of the questions from one of the viewers.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, this is what a lot of people working in the same business or together, people keep asking us this, and I think it must be similar for you also. So yeah, I mean, we each of us have our separate area that we work on, and we don't kind of overlap each other. So he has his strong points in the sense he's more outgoing and he likes networking. So franchising, marketing, all that is his forte, and he's comfortable and
Amazing,
happy
yeah.
doing that. And I, on the other side, I prefer handling the team, the product, the recruiting, training. So I like that part of it. So today it's more identifying new product services. So and training part of it is an important role that I play.
Amazing,
Right now,
amazing. Yes.
and then another thing is we don't discuss this at home. So that
Okay.
way, we really don't. I mean, we always at home. It's always, since it's business, and we generally talk, but then we don't really, get too, controversial on certain things at home. At least.
Amazing, amazing. Yes, ma'am. I could resonate a lot with what you have said, and definitely, I think we should meet once to just discuss about how do we both
Yeah.
manage, and we should take a lot of learnings from you and Kumarvelu sir about how to we manage our work and personal life. A second question that has come up, ma'am, is. How do you take your setbacks? So there would be times when you would be low, or you wouldn't have expected that this loss has come up in the business, or this issue has come up in the business. How do you take these setbacks when situations like this come?
Yeah, so today we are in a similar situation. Today we are in a situation where my franchisees are not doing business, so I cannot collect any royalty from them. So for the
Right.
last 6 months, we have not collected any royalty from the franchisees. But but I have a team. I have people. I mean, we have to get the ball rolling again. So marketing has to happen. So you'll just have to find alternate situations of how we can, kind of overcome this. This will happen. It in its own space. Things will, set right. But in the meantime, we need to see how we can fund the rest. So we're always thinking of alternative things that we could do, to overcome this situation. So whatever today, if I'm talking of today's situation, yes, we've seen how we can support the team. I cannot lead the team, so
Right.
so we see that how we can support them and help them, guide them and get out of this situation. So you need to keep looking at how that could be done. But you can't get yourself being so low and saying, how will I come
Right.
out of it? You'll have to find, whether it is to borrow or whether it is to, get funds from elsewhere. You need to see how you can do that to get rolling. Everything, I mean, things will set right in the next few months, but till such time you have to pull through. So, yeah, because not only us, but then you have your whole franchisees system, wondering how this is going to go forward. So you need to be strong enough to guide them and motivate them to say that yes, you find how we can support you, you can support us, and we will go through this together. And since we work on a franchise model, it has been a blessing because these 100 people have been able to us. Then we have 600 salons to take care of. But today we have 600 people who take care of those salons, are able to come through this.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I just love the way how you keep your team first and see that how you could drive your leadership through the team. There's also one more question, and trending now. What do you think the ultimate role of a leader is? Win and dissolve into the background like Dhoni, or roar and be on the front line like Kohli, or be calm, do the job, and also be present like Rohit. What do you go for, ma'am?
As the last one, I think be there, be calm, and
Do
but
the
the
job.
first thing Dhoni was like that. No, now today he's
Agreed,
shown
agreed.
in a different thing. But anyways, yeah, I think that's good. Where you need to be calm. You can't be agitated, and you'll have everybody also
Yes, yes.
panicking and everything. So I think you need to be calm. Though it's just like the duck sailing smoothly on top, but keep working paddling under the water. So I
Agreed.
think that's how the leader needs to be.
Amazing, amazing. Yes, so I think that's all the questions are. We even if there are more questions, we will definitely revert to you, and we look forward that we have many more instances to meet again and interact with you again. Truly, this conversation has been very genuine and very spontaneous. And thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us and inspiring many more people like you. We would just like to end it on a note where we would like to hear from you. How can a leader, or how can someone who is into a business or into a work or doing some social enterprise, how they could grow, how they could try to see that how they could improve themselves as an individual or as a leadership? What are some of the improvement journey that they could set for themselves at an individual level? Inspirations are there, but what are the few habits or few
Mhm.
things that they can do at an individual level so that their leadership can grow? Any concluding thought on that?
Yeah, see, today, if you see, there are so many workshops, seminars related to the subjects that could interest you. So I think you should always take a subject, take something, that you want to develop in yourself and work on it. So today, it could be online or it could be through books, or my husband listens to a lot of audio cassettes, and while we're traveling in the car, I'm also forced to listen to it because he always listens to some audio cassette. So by default, I also hear this. So that way, I think constantly keeping yourself motivated, because as a leader, who is going to motivate you? You need to get that through some source like this, either through reading or through having a mentor probably to guide you and to take you through times or share your views and suggestions, give you suggestions, ideas. So you need to have either a mentor, or probably listen to audio CDs or read books. And but there are so many today. There are workshops to this thing that you can take any time of the day. It's not that you have to be continuously into it. You could probably take it whenever you're free. So, but make use of that and improve your this thing, and always try to improve one skill which will which will help you in the future. So learn one skill today. For me, digital marketing is one thing that I wish to learn, because I think that's the way forward. So this is what I'm thinking of improving in. So I think each one would have something which you think you want to improve yourself. Work on that. Yeah, otherwise, be yourself, be happy, and I think things will be all fine for you.
Amazing, amazing, ma'am. Thank you so much. I think from this whole conversation, I take back perseverance and building resilience as a key skill for leadership from you, and how you have faced the COVID situation, the way you have from the beginning tried hard to be where you are right now. And it's truly motivating to see that how your journey has been. You have grown from one salon to 600 now. So really grateful to see what you have done. And I'm not sure it's 600 or more than 600, but this is what I could understand from the conversation. So we wish you all the luck in what you do, ma'am. And definitely we look forward to connecting with you again. Thank you so much once again for being here and allowing us to, deep dive into your journey and learn from you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It was such a pleasure connecting with you, and I hope people have benefited with our conversation.
Yes,
And all
definitely,
the best to you and
definitely.
your team and everybody out there.
Great, great, ma'am. Thank you so much. We have definitely benefited a lot. Personally, I've had a lot of
Okay.
learning from the conversation. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.